Demonic cycles. It's crazy because earlier I was just talking about, a memory that I had from this day. Now, what just happened didn't ruin my day. And it's also going to lead into something that I need to address about certain things that have been happening around certain situations. But just recently, actually today, a little bit, not too long ago, I just got into a disagreement with my son's mother again. And it's funny, man, because it's almost like me saying this, I just got to be blunt. I got to be blunt no matter how people receive it. If you don't like me, at this point, you're not going to like me. So just move on. But I don't like arguing. I've said that before. I've also said me and her have had better disagreements. And even this disagreement, while it was still a disagreement, it was still a pattern that continued, which I'm going to get into in a second. It didn't turn out as worse as the other situations, because I think last year I was just done. Like I almost, if I didn't call her out her name, I probably became pretty close to it. But it's just certain things that me and her had been through that kept happening. And for me, it's almost like people don't want to hear certain things. She's asking me why didn't I bring up something in the moment, right? So when I said, I noticed certain patterns, and so I didn't, certain things didn't happen while we were up there trying to get food or whatnot. I keep certain things to myself, which is bad at times, but if it's something you can get over it, do let it go and try to let it go. But when certain things pile on top of that, which she, didn't understand, and I brought up a situation that I agree with her. After I brought it up and I tried to say, this happened, and this happened. She tried to point out the one thing that was probably questionable, and I was like, you know what? You were probably right about that. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe it didn't happen the way that I see it. But let's disregard that and go to the other three scenarios that we both know happen, and that this is a reoccurring pattern of. And my whole point was I didn't want to bring any of that up. And the same thing repeated, because me seeing my son cry on his birthday, last year, it didn't make me feel good at all. And he always wondering, like, why are you guys always fighting? Like, so when we started doing better, I'm like, man, whatever we doing, we need to stay on that train. But the enemy will try anything that he can to try to get into your life and wreak havoc, especially through people who are easily used and who are emotionally weak. Now, people try to look at me like me saying that is me demeaning my son's mother. We have to understand and look at women as what the Bible say they are. Like, I know y'all want to say everything is equal, but you are the weaker vessel. In some things, you may be stronger than your man. You may have more money. You may have a better career. You may have a better car. You may have a better hold on certain things within the household. But you still have to recognize that you yourself are the weaker vessel. And a lot of times, because of pride in both of the sexes, men and women, we are blinded to certain things that, we struggle with. And so, that was one of the things that happened. I was telling her I did not want certain things to repeat, but she could not, for the life of her, understand that. So she made a point that I messed up on as the main point, and didn't focus on my whole reason for not bringing it up in the first place, or focus on the other 3 points I had brought up that we both know were valid. She focused on the one point to try to bring confusion to the whole situation, and knowing that I didn't want to talk about that, that kept me in a driving point, And I was also accused that was the whole reason why I was mad in the first place, which it wasn't. I was upset because I felt like as a father at times, the things that I say are challenged. And I feel like that's a valid enough reason for any man to step to that woman. And that's another reason why it's so hard to have children out of wedlock. So even hearing this story, if you aren't in that scenario yet, I ask you, I implore you, do things the right way. Don't go off of how somebody look. Don't go off of what they letting you do in the time. Go off of y'all compatibility, whether or not y'all are operating how y'all supposed to be, whether or not this person could take criticism. And I think a true marker in a relationship is how y'all handle arguments, how y'all handle disagreements. I'm a person, I'm going to always go back and analyze the things that I've done. And if I've said something wrong, best believe me, God is going to deal with me. He's going to deal with me because I'm a thinker. All right. And he's going to make me apologize. And it goes into this situation now that has been recently happened. There was a young lady that I've been helping online, and she continuously talks, references certain things that I'm saying to make it look like certain things to other people. Now, certain things she does say is true, but some things are manipulative, and I'm standing on that. I'm standing on it. We have to stand on the things we say and the things we do, and I'm sure about that because I've been close up enough about it. I'm not bringing her up in this moment to try to put her and my son's mother in the same box, because they are definitely two completely different women, and they both have excellent qualities about them. But this is something that I noticed while this situation had just happened, while something that's happened in the virtual realm. Things keep transpiring. But yeah, this lady, I guess she wants other people to view me a certain way when that's not her job. That's not your job, and I feel like you've been overstepping for a while. If you don't like a person, you didn't want to be with a person, God didn't want you to have that relationship. You've been saying certain things that I've been hearing for a while, and so if all of these things is the case, how come you can't stop talking about that person or what that person is talking about? See, that lets me know something is up. Or you want something to happen on your time, and then it's not going to happen. All right, flat out. There are some things that I've noticed as well, but I have to save it for the right time. This will not be something that's discussed within the first video. That whole relationship thing or whatever, that's going to be brought up at some point, but not within the first video. And so I don't want nobody on the edge of their seat waiting for March for me to even talk about that. That could be June. That could be June before I address that, because I see the type of control that this person thinks that they have over me with it, and how different other people are around them or trying to control the narrative about it. So for me, going forward, I want people to disassociate me from any of the two people that I was talking about last year. I do love both of them very, very much. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I'm not the greatest person in the world, but I try to do what the Bible says, and I try to lead with love. I didn't handle things like I should have. I should have been more mature. I should have given both people the ability to speak on certain things at the right time. I did try to reach out to one, but I'm not going to get into that. But I gave them an opportunity to speak. They failed to speak. And so I've made certain decisions based on that. And then as I've tried to step away, August, I think even September, frustrated, different things going on. It's like I wasn't being taken serious, or just certain things, like they thought I was playing, or I didn't really want to talk then, or I don't know what was going through this person's mind, but I felt constantly being disrespected because I'm asking you to talk, I'm asking you to do this and that, And we're supposed to be something, but if you can't listen to me, if you can't respect the things that I'm saying, like, that's what showed me what I needed to know. And so I'm not trying to, call this person a bad person. I think they're a good person. Should the right person, link up with this person, I think everything will be well for them. But I know everybody can't handle everybody. And I be looking at some of the things that I put up with. I be like, God, either they think I'm the only person that could put up with that, or I am literally the only person that could put up with that. And so, I don't take anything personal. I just look at relationships and different things that I've experienced as learning experiences, and I've learned the things that I need to learn. Part of which, don't commit to anything without meeting a person. If I ain't going on no date with nobody, there's not too many things I'm gonna commit on. I'm not gonna commit to something if I haven't met you, if we haven't gotten on each other's nerves and been through that test yet. We ain't doing that. And then if we do go through those tests and I see that you'll do certain things, because we talk about love, right? This is a day of love. And so when I look at the love of God is unconditional. God died for people who were spitting on him and killing him at the same time. That ain't the same spirit that some people operate out of. We really have to analyze ourselves in these times, analyze what we are teaching people, what we're putting out there, and, just see if we would want the same things done to us. As I've said, this is to let that person know. Number one, to vent kind of about a situation that recently happened, but also to let that person know that I do love them and care about them. But again, as I've been saying for a while, like I no longer want to be associated with them. They talk about all these different things. The only thing I've wanted was respect. If you can't respect the person that you're supposed to be dating, if you can't talk to them, if you cannot, or if you can't help but go without trying to force how you feel about something instead of letting them explain it, because maybe I'm emotionally mature enough to be like, if I look at something and you bring it up, you be like, that's wrong. I'll be like, you know what, that was fried. I apologize. You were absolutely right, and I can do that every single time. It may take, with some people, it's going to take longer than others, but to never be wrong to always be the one that people gotta get used to and to conform to, like, that's not me. And I can't be that type of person no more. Peace.